to revenge with Lyra.
Your kids aren't important enough for my daughter's school ceremony, my brother said loudly, smirking as forks clinked against plates. The laughter that followed hit me harder than the words. My twins, Lily and Max, froze mid-bite. Their eyes shimmered with the kind of confusion only children feel when cruelty wears a smile. I felt the blood drain from my face, but before I could speak, my husband, Daniel, slowly set down his glass. He didn't shout. He just stood, calm and deliberate, and reached for his phone. Daniel, I whispered, my voice trembling.
But he ignored me.
He looked around the table, at my parents pretending not to notice, at my sister-in-law smirking beside her perfect little girl in a designer dress, and then at our children. The room went dead silent. I think, he said, unlocking his phone, it's time the truth about this family came out. My brother's grin faltered. What are you doing? Daniel turned the screen toward the table, and the color drained from everyone's faces. My name is Clara Monroe, 32 years old. I've spent my whole life letting this family treat me like background noise. But that night, the night of my niece's special ceremony dinner, something changed. Daniel wasn't bluffing, and the secret he was about to reveal would turn that smug dining room into a courtroom none of them could escape. The room felt heavy, the kind of silence that hums just before a storm. My brother, Mark, leaned back in his chair, trying to laugh it off. Come on, Daniel. Don't start your usual drama. It's a family dinner, not a press conference. But Daniel's eyes were cold, steady. Then maybe you shouldn't have made it public, Mark. He tapped a video on his phone and turned the volume up. The sound that came out wasn't music, it was a recording. Mark's voice, unmistakable. Clara's husband is a joke. He's a construction manager pretending to be rich. Their kids? Not even worth the tuition they beg for. The laughter in the background, my parents' voices, hit me like a physical blow. My mom's voice followed, faint but clear. Max hid his face in his hands. Mark's confident smile shattered. You recorded us? Daniel didn't flinch. You humiliated my wife in her own parents' home last month. You laughed when she walked out crying. So yeah, I recorded it, because people like you only understand proof. My dad slammed his hand on the table. Turn that off right now. Daniel looked him dead in the eye. You didn't say that when they talked about your daughter, like she was dirt. And for the first time, my father couldn't look at me. Mark's jaw clenched, his voice rising with fake outrage. You had no right to spy on us, Daniel. That's disgusting. Disgusting? Daniel interrupted quietly. Not as disgusting as watching your kids insult mine while you all laughed. My hands trembled beneath the table. I'd been silent too long. I looked around at the faces that used to mean home. Now they just looked like strangers caught in their own reflection. My mother, always elegant and composed, finally spoke. Clara, he's blowing things out of proportion. You know your brother jokes sometimes. Mom, I said, my voice breaking, you called my children worthless. She flinched, her eyes darting to the side, as if hoping the lie could vanish if she didn't face it. Daniel placed his phone flat on the table, screen still glowing. You've spent years treating Clara like an obligation, not a daughter. But tonight, you insulted her children. My children. That's where it ends. Mark scoffed, trying to recover his arrogance. Oh, please. What are you going to do? Cry to your internet followers. Daniel's lips curled into the faintest smile. Not exactly. He picked up his phone again and tapped the screen. A notification tone echoed through the room. Mark frowned. What did you just do? Daniel leaned back in his chair, calm as a storm in motion. Let's just say that little recording isn't private anymore. The air went still. The walls seemed to close in. Mark's face went pale. What do you mean it's not private anymore? Daniel's eyes didn't blink. I just sent it to the parent committee at your daughter's private school. The color drained from my mother's cheeks. Daniel, you didn't. Oh, I did, he said evenly. Because your son here has spent months bragging about being a pillar of the community, while mocking his own sister's family behind closed doors. Mark shot up from his chair. You'll ruin me. Daniel tilted his head. No, Mark. You did that yourself. My brother lunged toward him, but I stood up between them, my voice shaking yet steady. Stop. You think humiliation is only yours to give? You've been handing it out like dessert for years. Tonight, you finally get a taste. Lily tugged my hand gently. Mommy, can we go home? I knelt down, kissed her forehead, and whispered, Soon, baby. Mommy's just finishing something. My father finally spoke, his tone low and icy. Clara, enough. You're embarrassing the family. I straightened my shoulders, meeting his eyes with a calmness I didn't know I had.
No, Dad.
You embarrassed yourselves. I'm just done pretending it's love. Daniel stood beside me, his arm brushing mine. We're leaving. As we walked toward the door, my brother's voice cracked behind us. You'll regret this. Daniel didn't even turn. Maybe. But at least we'll regret it together, with dignity. And for the first time in years, I felt free. By the next morning, the storm had already begun. The group chat my brother adored, the one full of other parents from his daughter's elite school, was on fire. Someone had forwarded Daniel's recording. In less than an hour, Mark's name was trending on the local Facebook forum under the tag #HypocriteDoctor. Screenshots spread like wildfire. Clips of my mom laughing in the background. My dad saying, Don't invite Clara next time. She lowers the tone. Daniel showed me the comments while sipping his coffee. Looks like your family just got a dose of public accountability. I stared at the phone, my heart pounding. I didn't want revenge to feel this real. He reached over, taking my hand. It's not revenge, Clara. It's exposure. Later that afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. My mother. Her voice trembled, not with guilt, but with fear. Clara, please take it down. Your brother's losing patience, and the school board called him in. You've made your point. I took a slow breath.
No, Mom.
The point isn't made until you understand that love doesn't mean silence. There was a long pause, then a quiet sniffle. You've changed, she whispered. I smiled sadly.
No, Mom.
I finally stopped apologizing. When I hung up, Daniel met my gaze. You think this will make them learn? He asked. Maybe not, I said softly. But they'll never forget. That evening, I got a message from an unexpected number, my father. Family meeting. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. No excuses. I showed it to Daniel. He exhaled sharply. They're not calling to apologize. I know, I replied, but I'm not going there for them. I'm going there to finish this. The next night, the same dining room that once held our birthdays and holidays now felt like a courtroom. My parents sat stiffly on one side, Mark and his wife on the other. Their eyes were cold, hollow. My mother started first. Clara, you've humiliated this family. What you did was cruel. I stared right at her. Cruel? You called my children worthless. You stood by while your son mocked my husband. Mark leaned forward. We were joking, Clara. Families tease each other. Families don't break each other, I interrupted. Daniel placed a folder on the table. This isn't just about teasing. We filed a defamation claim this morning. Every word in that recording can be used as evidence. My father's face flushed red. You take your own family to court? Daniel's voice was calm, steady. We take bullies to court. Blood doesn't excuse cruelty. For a long moment, no one spoke. The air was sharp and still. Finally, I rose from my chair, gathering my bag. Enjoy dinner, I said quietly. This is the last meal you'll ever share with someone who lets her kids be treated like trash. By morning, the news had already broken beyond the family circle. Local papers were running headlines about Dr. Mark Halston under investigation for professional misconduct. Daniel's defamation claim had triggered a chain reaction. Reporters found other parents and even former patients who'd been quietly waiting to speak up. When I walked into my office that day, people weren't whispering behind my back anymore. They smiled. They knew. But the real shock came at 2 p.m. My father showed up. Not the proud, commanding man I remembered. This one looked smaller, worn down. He stood at my office door, hat in hand. Clara, I came to say I'm sorry. I looked up slowly. For what? For laughing?
For not stopping it.
For not seeing what we became. It wasn't rehearsed.